there's definitely emotions. I mean, you felt it in the pregame ceremony. Those picture montages are tough at the best at times. And it's unfortunate that we're not lengthening out the time that we're playing here, because we did enjoy it. We have a great fan group that we played in front of here for the year, and we're going to miss it.
Some of the guys in there were saying that it's a little hard to leave today. They're dragging their feet. Do you feel some of that too?
Well, losing sucks. I don't want to speak out of turn. It's not a lot of fun, and I don't think any of our players over the last month and a half have had a lot of fun because we haven't been able to string much success together. Having said that, I'm proud of the way they continue to work. We had some adversity that we faced with injuries and different guys being taken from our lineup, and it would have been easy to really roll over, where I don't think our players did. I thought they continued to work and try to find ways to win games.
Any of these guys headed right up to Calgary, either for active roles or Black Aces? Or
the Black Aces, I guess, if you want to call it that. Tuesday there will be a bunch of guys that will be going up, so that's going to be determined here shortly.
It's going to be a little bit nice starting next year, though. You'll be on the other side of the country, and a little bit easier for travel between both teams.
Yeah, I would assume that's going to be one perk. I mean, there was some. Johnny Warrior was a great example earlier in the year. We had felt like a 2-day travel trip to get to Calgary because of some delays, and I know that won't be the case when we're out west. So that's one of the pluses for sure. And I think probably a little bit less travel, maybe a little less time in hotels as well, which would be good for our guys.
Can you talk about his selection as MVP? It's a little bit of a surprise,
Well, maybe not. I mean, when you look at our group, when Yanni was there, we were having a fair amount of success, and when we lost Yanni to his injury, even when he was called up for the 2.5 weeks, we didn't have much success. And I think when you look at an MVP and who's your most valuable player, when you take someone out of the lineup, if things change, I think it's a pretty good indicator of how important it is.
And what about Ramage as your top defenseman? What were you looking for on that one?
He's consistent. I mean, when you look at him all year long, he started out in a tough spot, being healthy scratched on a few occasions, a few games in a row, which wasn't easy for him, but he kept a great attitude, and I think he showed along the way the qualities and characteristics that we want in one of our players. In regards to his play, we used him in every situation, a ton of minutes. He was probably our most consistent guy for a stretch in the middle portion of the year. I felt he's very deserving of that honor.
What was your highlight? It's got to be a thrill for you to see guys go to the NHL. I mean, play a role in their development.
There was a lot of highlights. I mean, there really was. You're real proud when you see guys get a chance to play at that next level. You're real proud when certain guys got their first call-up. I think that's something that you will never forget. And along the way, there are some great memories that we've had here. We had some good runs where we were playing really good hockey, and we were a hard team to play against. You remember the building here on certain nights. The New Year's Eve game was a great game against Toronto. There's a lot of things. I think when you have time to reflect on it, I think our players as well as our staff will understand how nice it was to play here and the type of season that we did have.
I'm going to follow up on that question. When you look back now, is this what you expected when you guys came here? Just how this community rallied around behind this team?
Yeah, kind of. We were in a situation where a lot of people had played here, or they knew people that were here in the past, whether that's from the old Red Wing days or the other teams that have been here. And they talked about how tight-knit and close this community was and how they embraced hockey. We saw that right away when we first got here. So we've been out of it for a little while here, and yet we've had 2 great crowds these last 2 games, and I think even when we've struggled a little bit, they were behind us all the time. And that says a lot about this area.
Was the biggest difference for you from junior up to here, all the transactions and the constant turnover, was that the biggest difference for you?
Yeah, I think that was one of them for sure. And I think, you're dealing with new people coming into your lineup from the East Coast League, and then you're losing key players that really could be whenever at critical times, and that was a challenge for sure. I think the other thing sometimes is the number of bodies that you have to deal with, and that's the other thing that we're going to be better for next year with having that experience. There's times when we were upwards of 30 guys, and then there's times where we were close to 21 guys. So we had a pretty big fluctuation in that area, and it's something that you had to learn as we did, and we'll be better for it next year.